Destiny is a travesty. It is one of the worst things to happen to the video game industry in the last decade. It has so many problems that I could write a book about it, but since writing is for old people, I decided to make a video instead. Now, all of you out there are probably furious right now, but why? I really don't understand why people like this game, but they do. Sometimes for fun, I just like to go into the comments of YouTube videos and say stuff like, Destiny sucks, or Destiny is the worst game ever, or $80 of DLC for a $60 game is a ripoff. And people always come to the defense of this piece of crap. They say stuff like, it's an MMO. I spend $10 a week to play MMOs on my computer. Or, $120 is not a big deal. Or, it's a lot of fun. You suck. Or, I had sex with your mom. And so on. Well, to all of you people out there, you're just crazy. Let's rewind to September 2014 for a few moments. I'd like to remind you all that you hated Destiny. You hated it. Everyone else was on my side. I heard things all the time like, this game sucks. This stuff in the trailer isn't in the game. The developers lied to us. If you remember, vanilla Destiny, whatever the hell that means, vanilla. If it was vanilla at first, what is it now? Chocolate, mint chocolate chip, Rainbow Road. My point is the whole vanilla thing is stupid. Anyways, if you remember correctly, when the game came out, it was terrible. The mechanics were fine, but the story made no sense. People said the world felt empty, and everyone hated the little robot. The multiplayer only had a few maps, there were no strikes, and no one knew what the heck was going on. After the game released, rumors started surfacing about why the game was so bad, and why the story made no sense. We started to learn that people had been fired, and the whole game had to be redone, and other crap like that. Anyway, people played the game because they had paid $60 and they didn't want to feel as though they'd been ripped off, so they played it to get their money's worth. Bungie started to patch the game, and people's Stockholm Syndrome started to kick in, and so the game went from being an average 6 to about an 11 out of 10. I'm fine with all of this up to this point. The game sucks, whatever, lots of games suck. But here's where the whole Destiny thing boggles my mind. Let's imagine that Destiny came out on the original Xbox or PS2 or whatever. It would not have looked as good or whatever, but just imagine. The game would have sucked, and it would still suck today. Why? Because you couldn't patch a PS2 game. There is no such thing as DLC. In fact, everyone posts this picture everywhere because they think it's funny, but the picture has a point. Back in those days, every game was a vanilla. There's none of this mint chocolate chip crap. So when you bought a bad game, it would be bad forever. That was it. Now, some developers know how to use the patch. They use patches to fix small things. But when Uncharted or The Last of Us is launched, the game is almost entirely on the disc. The patches just fix small glitches, or they fix overpowered multiplayer guns, but not the entire frickin' game. Speaking of patches, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 now has about 14 gigs of patches because they didn't finish the game on time, and they knew they could just fix the game online. This sucks. I only have 500 gigs on my PS4, and I don't want to waste 14 gigs on some stupid game because the developers didn't have enough time to finish. It sucks. You don't see Super Mario Bros. Being patched because it worked, and it always has, and it always will work. Alright, let's get back to Destiny. I never found Destiny very fun. In fact, I only played it a few hours because I had better games to play. In fact, I hated Destiny so much I destroyed it to prove my point. Here, take a look at all this hatred. I vowed never to spend any money on Destiny again, and I didn't, unlike all of you out there. Now I hear Destiny is awesome. They have all this cool stuff, and more maps, and more raids, and all this other crap. I really don't care. You know how much all this costs? Well, the Taken King is only $40. $40? That's almost as much as the entire game. In fact, I paid $40 for a year of PS Plus, and it got me great games like Dishonored, Rocket League, The Walking Dead Season 2, Ollie Ollie 2, Limbo, and Sound Shapes, plus lots of other cool games. So it's $40. But to play The Taken King, I have to have 2 other DLC packs costing $20 a piece, so $80 in total for the DLC. That costs more than a video game. In fact, I was able to buy Hotline Miami, The Walking Dead, The Wolf Among Us, Metal Gear Solid 5, Taco Master, Dead Space, and Red Dead Redemption for slightly less than $80. So for $140, I'm able to get a game that was called The Worst Game Since Skyrim by Harrison Stanley. Oh, wait. What's wrong with DLC, you may be asking? Well, nothing. Let's take a slight detour and look at The Last of Us. It was given a near-perfect score almost everywhere, and won Game of the Year from almost every major outlet. A few months after it was released, a small piece of DLC came out titled Left Behind. It cost $15 or $20 and was almost better than The Last of Us. It was not required to play The Last of Us. In fact, it was just a complimentary piece of content that was too small to be its own game. It was like a dessert. Let's go back to that stupid picture I showed you earlier. Today, the DLC is the hamburger, whatever that means. Let's take a look at some games that have DLC that costs almost as much or more than the game itself. Star Wars Battlefront, Black Ops 3, Batman Arkham Knight, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and so on. This DLC thing is becoming a huge problem. Pretty soon I'm going to be spending hundreds of dollars for DLC for a game. Now, everyone out there is probably saying, if you don't want to buy the DLC, then don't do it. Well, if I wanted to play Destiny, wouldn't I kind of have to? I mean, everyone else has it, so who would I play with? Besides, everyone hated the game before the DLC, so really Destiny isn't Destiny in most people's minds without the DLC. Everyone who says the game is good, or who likes it, owns the DLC. I'm about to debunk a myth, and you are gonna not like this, so hold on to your butts. Whenever I say Destiny is too expensive, everyone always comes back with, it's an MMORPG. On my computer, I'd have to pay $12 a month, so $140 isn't a big deal. Now, let's just take a second to think about how stupid that is. First, a PS4 or Xbox is not a computer. If you want to spend $12 a month to play a game online, you can go do that on your PC. Second, Destiny is not an MMORPG. It has elements that are similar to MMOs and RPGs, but just because it has elements does not make it an MMO or an RPG or an MMORPG. For example, Red Dead Redemption has RPG elements, and I can play online with my friends, but that doesn't make Red Dead an MMORPG. In fact, if you look at the list of MMORPG games on Wikipedia, Destiny is not one of them, so go think about that. The other response I get is, I've spent 500 hours playing this game, so it's worth the money. First off, get a life. No one should put 500 hours into a game. And second, hours do not equal a dollar amount. I spend $1,300 for 150 hours of college courses, and that's cheap. If I put 150 hours into Metal Gear, should I have to pay $1,300? The answer is no! Also, not everyone will put 500 hours into Destiny, guy. Some people paid $140 and only played the game for a few hours. While all you guys out there have Stockholm Syndrome for this stupid game, maybe I too have a kind of Stockholm Syndrome. I spent the last year and a half of my life hating on this game. Maybe I can no longer tell if it's good or bad. Who knows? Destiny may be better now than it was, but it's got better by patching itself and selling $80 worth of DLC. True trends that might ruin the video game industry one day. But I guess I digress. What I'm trying to say is, if you don't want to see huge patches or lots of pricey DLC in video games, don't support games that exploit them. If you do, it sends a message to the publishers that it's okay to do that. Anyways, I guess if you really want Destiny, you could go buy it used at GameStop, and if you return it within a week of your purchase, you get all your money back, so you could just do that over and over again. Destiny. 11 out of 35.